She has sent out tweets before supporting Joe Biden, so they're not necessarily barking up the wrong tree here. That could happen.
Yeah, she endorsed him in 2020. She definitely doesn't look wishy-washy, but actually it's funny. You and I, before we started this segment, we both said that we were cheering for the opposite team, the Ravens, to beat out the Chiefs, just because we have had enough of Taylor Swift for now. But here's the facts. Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, and now there's an online plea circulating that is begging people to become Niners fans for the next 2 weeks, just so it doesn't raise Travis Kelce, a.k.a. Mr. Pfizer's star power, along with, of course, Taylor Swift, because it is so scary. There was a recent poll. 1/5 of Taylor Swift fans said they would back whichever candidate that she endorsed.
So don't get involved. Don't get involved in politics. We don't want to see you there. But Joe Biden's in the hole with young people. He knows it. And if he thinks Taylor can get him out of that hole, he's going to go for it.
The Kansas City Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again, but this time, is it because of a Taylor Swift conspiracy?
And seeing as T Swift has a whopping 94.9 million followers on X alone, compared to Trump's inactive account with 87 million, and Biden's POTUS account with a measly 33 million, half of which are probably bots, let's be honest, I'd say, yeah, that's probably reason for concern. Especially when you take into account the fact that George Soros and the Carlyle Group own Taylor Swift and her music. Isn't it interesting? She just so happens to be dating Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, better known as Mr. Pfizer, who's now also going to the Super Bowl, which is sponsored by, you guessed it, Pfizer.
How about this? How about we don't care? How about no one cares what Taylor Swift has to say on politics? Because she is a pop star and she makes songs and then is in many shots by the NFL. Quick side note here. I have to say, good for Lamar Jackson for preserving his breathing on this planet. Because if Lamar Jackson had actually put the Kansas City Chiefs in danger of losing the AFC Championship game the other day, Roger Goodell would have hit him with a drone to prevent that from happening. There's actually a drone hovering over the stadium. It's going to be like a Barack Obama drone attack in Somalia or something.
Never mind the fact that the Chiefs have made it to the Super Bowl quite a few times over the past few years, and they did it all by themselves. They didn't have any of that T-Swift black magic or the deep state working for them back then. The right is very upset that the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl over the Ravens, and it has nothing to do with team loyalty. As is everything with them, it's all a big conspiracy to make sure Trump never takes office as president again. And the force behind all of this, the FBI's secret weapon, none other than everyone's favorite pop star, Taylor Swift. Yes, she's in cahoots with the darkest factions of our government to publicly endorse Joe Biden for president, which, funny enough, she can just do on her own without the backing of the Pentagon or whoever. In fact, Taylor's whole relationship with NFL star and Kansas City Chief Travis Kelce is all allegedly part of an undercover operation to boost Joe Biden. Now, I will be the first to believe that Taylor Swift's irritatingly public relationships are probably more PR than love, but ultimately, who cares? Who knows? It doesn't really affect me, and I don't really know. But this relationship with Travis Kelce is everywhere. After her breakup with Joe Alwyn, a relationship that was uncharacteristically out of the public eye, she's exploded back onto the scene, hooking up with an already very famous, very popular, very celebrated NFL star. And sure, her dating him has probably put him on the radar of those who probably don't follow football that closely, but as far as NFL stars go, he was already way up there. But according to voices on the right, Travis Kelce is being boosted by his relationship with Taylor Swift specifically because, with their powers combined, they can super endorse Joe Biden for president in the 2024 election. The Chiefs going to the Super Bowl is all just part of it. It's to help Travis Kelce stay relevant and boost his star power even more. And if the Chiefs actually win the Super Bowl, if Taylor and or Travis actually do go on to officially endorse Joe Biden, which is already likely because Taylor Swift has endorsed him in the past and is a known Democrat, brace yourselves for the onslaught of right-wing pundits suffering from their own confirmation biases.
Here are some of the messages, I'm trying not to laugh, circulating on social media. Vivek Ramaswamy, I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl next month. Podcast host Mike Crispy, the NFL is totally rigged for the Kansas City Chief Taylor Swift. Mr. Pfizer, Travis Kelce. Lara Loomer, a self-described Islamophobe who has been embraced and promoted by Trump. They are going to use Taylor Swift as the poster child for their pro-abortion GOTV campaign. Right-wing media personality Benny Johnson said Taylor Swift is an op.
So I have a mild proposal, a moderate proposal. If you base your vote on who Taylor Swift endorses, you should not be allowed to vote in the United States. This doesn't hold just true for Taylor Swift. If you base your vote on the thoughts of celebrities who have spent 2 seconds engaging with politics, but you really like their songs, you should not be voting.
The right does this a lot, and maybe the left is guilty of it too, but the right employs it specifically as a propaganda tactic. During the 2020 election, Trump probably knew that he wasn't the favorite to win. He hadn't won the popular vote in his previous election victory, and his odds were even worse in 2020 than they had been in 2016. So he started telling his base that if he doesn't win, which again was already very likely, it would be because of election rigging and voting fraud, not because he was never the most popular or electable candidate. He never offered up any evidence for his conspiracy because he didn't have any, and because his base never required any before they bought the line, hook, and sinker. So once all of the things that probably would have happened anyway happen, their base already has a conspiratorial explanation ready to go. They conveniently have someone on whom to pin the blame. In this case, it's Taylor Swift and by extension Travis Kelce, but really, it's their favorite boogeyman, the elusive deep state. The deep state is, in fact, so elusive that no one can tell you who or what it's comprised of. It's just a bunch of nebulous jargon that fills the mouths and minds of MAGA Republicans, corrupting them from within and insulting their intelligence. So as far as celebrity endorsements go, honestly, they're not my favorite. Sometimes the less I know about my favorite celebrities' politics, the better. Also, it really shouldn't matter what any celebrity thinks or feels politically any more than it matters what you or I think. We all think, feel, and vote based on our own cultures, the ways in which we were raised, our unique lived experiences, our educational and occupational backgrounds, and more. Now, that said, we live in a society, right? So it's good to have diverse voices out there that reflect the public, present different ways of thinking to people, and raise awareness for some of the conditions affecting various groups of people across the country and even around the world. Realistically, Taylor Swift's voice is going to reach way, way, way more people's ears than my voice or yours will. It's entirely up to her what she wants to do with it. She spent years building up one of the most impressive platforms ever in the world, and the fact that she's not a MAGA Republican is terrifying to Republicans. We've already felt the strength of her base when voter registration spiked at her behest. Naturally, Republicans see more registered voters as a problem, especially when the majority of them were likely young female voters. But Travis Kelce presents a whole different set of problems for Republicans, and his alliance with Taylor Swift is a branding problem for Republicans. Travis Kelce is a Midwestern white boy. He comes from a working class family, he's jacked, and he was already one of the best players in the NFL before Taylor Swift came around and made him even more of a household name. He's on brand for Republicans, but he's not one of them. He's everything they wish they could be, but he is not one of them. And so it must all just be a huge conspiracy. Maybe these are the haters that Taylor was warning us about all along. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my podcast, Modern Context. Thanks.